as you see fit. We've got our part 2 of today's clinic on court with Coach Ward. No introduction required since you introduced him already. We've got a great group of players who are going to help us out. Shout out to these guys for being here, hitting with us today. Thank you all very much. And without further ado, Michael Ward.
All right, guys. Glad y'all are back. Hope everyone had a good lunch. So I know we talked about one court with a bunch of people. So we'll get there. That may be a little tough. Anything else, guys? I've got kind of broke down about tactics to, I tried to break it down to about 20. We may not have time to go over, but I thinking about some drills that would emphasize some of the more important tactics that we work on. But anything you guys want to see in particular, or any kind of drills or ideas?
You're going to turn it down to about 20%. Can we see some advanced level skills too?
Yeah, for sure. See some advanced and then some more. Okay. Poaching drills. That's true. Are you guys? Is it doubles mainly? Okay. Can't get over this, but it's like doubles, right? I mean, you. Okay. So let me just. Okay. 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 Cooperative drills, doubles, poaching, some higher level stuff. Where do we start? Yeah. Okay.
In some drills, like we may have 40 kids and 2 coaches.
Actually,
So
have
drills
43 kids
and 3 coaches.
and 8 courts.
Wait, okay, so you have 40 kids, 8 courts, but only 3 coaches.
And some probably don't even have 3 coaches. I think
So you could, you're better off though in the sense you could maybe get 4 or 5 kids on a court. You just don't have a lot of oversight. You're good. You're passing that test. Our coach ratio is tough.
Yes.
Okay. All right. First thing I'd say is, hey Tommy. First thing I'd say is, why don't we get? Are y'all opposed to all sort of? Are we opposed to getting kind of a little tighter here, a little close here? That way I'm not screaming at y'all. Or maybe we pull down here in a little bit. Let's pull together a little bit. Okay. Why don't we start this way? Let's go through doubles, and I'll give you. Let's start with doubles. I'll try to knock out a couple things here. One, let's start with our cooperative doubles drill. I'm going to give you stage 1. This is Arizona State drill that I think works really well. Have you done this, Evan? Stage 1 doubles? Maybe not. Okay. Here's how this one's going to work. So I'm going to get 4. Whoever wants to play, let me get 4 players for doubles, and go ahead and grab a couple balls and assume positions for doubles. And the way this one works, guys, is basically we're going to emphasize the cooperative part. You have to make a serve, a return, and 2 first touches. So 1 first touch on either side. So the idea here for doubles, we're going to get into poaching, more aggressive stuff. But I like to start here with my players. They'll play to 16. They'll play 16 points. You guys play 16 points. We're not going to play the whole thing, but we would. Everybody would serve 4. For the purposes of today, let's just serve 2 points. Well, let's just do 1 point per person, all right? So you'll serve a point with Drew at the net, Evan returning, Hayes up. Now remember, for the high-level part, I would give my players 1 serve, okay? They have to get the serve in. They have to get the return in. He has to touch one of them has to touch the ball first, and then one of this team has to touch the ball first. So 4 total shots. If they get that together, they score a point. They're working together. All right. We're trying to see how many points they can score together out of 16. College format for the higher level part, I'm looking for 12, at least 12. If we're below 12, we're not winning doubles points as effectively as we should. If we're at 12 or higher, then we're looking pretty good. So yeah, for maybe you could tailor the drill down, like if she misses the serve, we'll give her a second, but maybe slide out a touch. So guys, you're not trying to put the ball away. 1 serve in play. If it takes you a couple times, okay. But 1 serve, 1 return, whoever gets the first ball, and if you can get the first ball. We're trying to work together on the drill. Get out of y'all's way. We'll try it again. I like it though. We're putting some pressure on her.
Yeah, tons of pressure.
Now I feel bad. Now I feel bad here. One more. She's got it. Three. All right, done. We almost got there. Good job. So it'd be one touch, one touch, one touch, one touch. What are we emphasizing? First serve percentage. Most important shot in tennis, most important shot in doubles, first serve percentage. Second most important shot in tennis, our return. Then we're looking at who can grab first touch, right? So we're just sort of overemphasizing the basics. This would be a classic warm-up drill that we would do cooperative to get doubles going, just to get first serves going, returns going, first touches, try to get together, feel like we've accomplished something, making sure we're not checking that box off, 12 out of 16. Then we're moving on into something more serious. So they would just rotate it around. In the real drill format, she would serve 4, Evan would serve 4, Drew would serve 4, and then Hayes would serve 4, and we would chart how many we get. Something you could do like day to day would be to, let's say you ran this on a Monday, maybe try to get on a Wednesday and see if you can get your number, improve that number a little bit. So we're hitting that cooperative part, but we're also emphasizing what I would consider some of the most important parts of doubles.
So are you trying to get the returner to get the ball to the net person?
I'm trying to okay.
Work together, or?
Yeah, high level. I would call this say like 80%. Like I'm trying to get my serve in. I'm going maybe like an 80% return, but I'm trying to pass the net person. I'm trying to get it back to the baseliner. Now, if Drew can come in and grab it, that's great. But whoever touches it, fine. Generally, Hayes is going to see if he can get his hands on the first ball and put away. But it kind of running at about 80% to get it going would be the ticket there.
Is there a time limit in terms of
Just playing to 16. I mean, we're playing to 16, and normally I wouldn't be giving them a second chance, right? Like you come into the line, you got one serve. All right, you missed it. Okay, now you go to the other side. You got one serve. Maybe for beginners, you want to give them 3 serves. Oxford, maybe we're giving them 2 serves, right? But college, maybe I'm just giving them the 1 serve. Kind of vary it by level there. But done in its truest form, you get 1 serve, 1 return, 1 touch each side, trying to get 12 out of 16. Cooperative stage 1, Arizona State, Matt would call it stage one doubles. That's the beginning of doubles, right?
I understand your understanding percentages and stuff like that and high rate, but how do you track the points for a team or?
Okay, so yeah, and I'll write some of these down. Maybe that'd help too.
Yeah.
She's going to serve 4 points.
4 points.
Right? So 1 here, then they'll flip like normal, 1 there. So how many points did we get out of those? 4. Then he's going to serve 4 points. Same. Then him. So we got 16 total points.
Okay.
And as a group, as 2 teams together, how many times did we get 1 point, which is serve, return, touch, touch?
Gotcha.
Once we cooperate on that, we got a point as a group, as a court.
This team versus this team.
Right, yeah.
Why would they hit it back?
No team versus team yet. Court versus court you could do, or just 1 court together, right? Okay. All right, that's stage 1. Let's go thinking quickly, like if high level part. If you're thinking on tour, doubles, I don't know if y'all know Dave O'Shaughnessy, but he played at Irish guy, played at Memphis, and ended up coaching Rajiv Ram, and so they got to 1 in the world in doubles. He helped us a little bit 2 years ago. Is a friend of mine, obviously very good double specialist. But he would have his guys stay. Any idea at percentage? This is the #1 men's doubles team in the world at least 2 years ago. What percentage first serve? What would you say for singles? What do y'all think first serve percentage we're shooting for in singles? Probably around 60? Yeah. Doubles, he's going up. He's tracking 67, 68. So if they drop below 68%, then he's telling them like, all right, we got to work on the serve. We got to back off, get more spin. Let's get it in. If they're going up, if they had a match where they served at 70%, he's on them the same way. That's too much. You need to go a little bit bigger on your serve. So he's tracking their stats and finding their sweet spot to be about 68% off their first serve. Okay, let's go poaching drill. Let's go with poaching drill. I can get everybody, let's get everybody on that side. All right, everybody sign their like legal health insurance waivers. Nobody's suing me if I hit you. Everybody's in good shape, right? One single file line, guys, in the doubles alley. Good, yeah, Drew, you can start us off, man. Only because of that headband, I know you're serious. You can take it. Go kind of in the doubles alley. Yep, slide over a bit. Right there, perfect. About good proximity to the net. So first thing we're gonna do, let me have you can just throw this kind of where your feet are there. And then let's put you at about right there. All right, so we're gonna work reaction volley to poach volley. This is actually one of the warm-up drills that I'll do before every match. So game day, I'm gonna fire a ball right at Drew's chest. You ready for it? He's gonna react, and then let me get, yeah, that's good, we're good here. He's gonna react the volley and then poach. He has to get to the mark for the second ball. All right, so we're making sure that his line is forward. So ready? I'll go easy here. We're gonna fire at him and get him across. All right, so we got pretty good. He almost got there. Okay. Oh, sorry. Try it again, Hayes. Ready? Okay, not bad. All right, so we're getting pretty close to the net. So adjustments we would want to make here, as I ramp up the speed for the reaction volley, I would look for their racket head to drop a little bit. I don't want them to stay up at a 3-0 league stance. I want them to drop the racket head a little bit and be able to react this way a little bit quicker. And then as they come in for that, I'm just making sure that they're getting all the way to the net or pretty close to the net. Last thing I'm looking for is the direction of their shot. I want to make sure that they're learning proximity rules and that the net players are playing to the net person, not the baseliner, right? So as they're poaching, rule 101 is they're taking that poach directly at the net person over here. So if it's a low ball, I'm gonna have them go through the hole. If it's a high ball, they're taking it right down at the feet or at them. Proximity rule, basically, you know, they have less time to react at the net. Big mistake I see on this, even from my 12 plus players when they come in and don't understand doubles, which is super common. I'll get a lot of singles players that are 12 and a half UTR and they have no idea how to play doubles. And they'll take these volleys all the time right back this way. And at the college, at our level, like it doesn't matter how good the volley is, the baseliner's often gonna be able to track that down and put it back in play. So I'm making sure they're placing it to the right section. Ready? Like that one? So that's the one we want to go over here. So we're taking it at the net person. Okay, not bad, not bad. Next thing I would do probably on something like that is when you see the reaction volley, the player, you guys probably see this all the time, but the most common reaction is to drop step to create time, right? Or you may see them go back with the racket. So you're gonna see the drop step or the back. So we're gonna work on dropping, getting lower, more grounded, more connected to the court, racket a little lower, just playing that reaction volley, then moving across. So kind of some technical work maybe that you can find after you drill it. Okay, a tough one, good job. Then I'd work it into overheads. So same thing. You ready for fast pace? Ready? Maybe start to work into overhead with it. Then we'd run the same thing from the other side. So they'd run it on the backhand volley for the righties, obviously Evan lefty. Same thing with overheads. So we'll get pretty crazy on this one. I mean, I'll fire him at him pretty fast to get him working on the reaction, get him across, or obviously mixing in the overheads as well. On the overheads, I'm never going deep on these. I'm trying to work really what we would call easy over. I'm trying to get them close to the net and putting those over. With our guys team, with our women's team in particular, I'll get a basket of old balls as they get older and separate them from the new balls. And they get bonus points, they get reward, they get smoothie after it, they get a treat, you know, something based on how many balls they can fence. So I want my girls to be able to put the ball over the fence. I want them to be able to take, how many can they take on, obviously not the reaction volley, but the high volley or the overhead and immediately get it over the fence. And they like that, you know, or sometimes we'll run it court to court, like which losing court or whoever fences less in 5 minutes has to go outside and pick up all the balls, you know, something like that, right? Okay, poaching sort of one-on-one there, and I think you can lead into technical work from there. Volleys, I don't know how y'all teach volleys, but my easiest thing for me is to make sure that when they go for the volley, they're loading their weight on their outside leg. So we're not looking for a drop step, and we're definitely not looking for the inside leg to go across. I think tennis pros have taught for so long to step in when you volley that players get that confused, and when the ball's wider, they step across. So I see a lot of inside to outside, and I spend a lot of time trying to get my players to load on the outside leg, and then if they have time, they can step in. But I'm perfectly happy with them just stepping on the outside leg to volley, even if they don't have time to move in. That's usually a little bit of a difference for some of the players who haven't volleyed as much. Same thing on the forehand, same thing on the backhand there. Questions, thoughts on those two drills? Anything else? I'm trying to think on doubles. When you're low on courts, right? Not low on coaches, but when you're low on courts, you could run a drill like USC does where there's doubles. Did we do this week? The USC drill? All right. So you could run it with a lot of teams. You could run it with at least 2 doubles teams over here and 2 doubles teams over here. Basically have them play. Did y'all do this, Evan? Okay. Yeah. But we basically run it in 2 teams here, 2 teams here. Have them play out the point. And basically run across the net. So you're keeping it fast paced, but you're moving across the net after each point. So they've got some motion going on there as well. Trying to think of another good doubles one. We'll do, for poaching too, we'll do one here where we close the doubles alley. So y'all want to go into doubles position. Let me get 2 over here and 2 over there. This one might be worth explaining. So 2 here, 2 there, whoever you want it to be. And get in staggered stance, guys. Just normal positions. Okay, so we would play this. This might be a warm-up that we would do too. And I'd play this cross court, but I would take the net person, both my net guys. So Carter, and Hayes, their alleys are closed. They're not open. Evan can't fire down Carter's alley, and Drew can't fire down Hayes' alley, right? So we're closing those 2 alleys, playing cross court, and let's see if Carter and Hayes can maybe go grab something a little more since they're not having to worry about their alley. Yeah, I like that a lot. You felt more free to go because you know your alley's closed. It's all right. We got. All right, we run it the other way. So you 2 guys, you back, you up, you up. Closing now Evan's alley and Drew's alley. More. Good. Evan, show us how we clear those balls in 3 seconds real quick. Okay, really good. Teaching moment. Evan, tell me about that volley location, right? So you went back to the baseliner. He had time to get it back in play. If you go to Drew, you can put it away. So closed alleys drills for poaching, I think are good. And then once they get the hang of it, maybe moving. We also I'll do a ton of like condition points where we might say you get 2 points instead of 1 if you put away from the net, or 3 points if they're not doing it great. So I'll say you win the game if you put the ball away from the net, depending on the level or what we need or what we're trying to work on. But anything that incentivizes them moving forward, moving to the net, we'll do some of those things. You probably have done them where you're moving across the net. You got to touch the net with your racket, right? Make sure you're that close to the net. Trying to think anything else I want to show on doubles.
How close do you want your net person when you're putting a partner serve?
Yeah, let's try it. So why don't we get in serve formation? Let's put Evan at the net and Hayes, you're serving. Okay, not bad. And you guys are in return position. So I think there is some flexibility. I do think it changes per person. But what I try to get my players doing is to get them. Again, I know this is level based, but I'm going to try to get my players halfway between the lines, not halfway between these lines, which is, I mean, generally they're over here. I'm constantly trying to move them more into the middle of the court. I also want them to be, Evan's about as far as I would want anybody starting from the net. And I would only be okay with this if he's moving forward with the toss, right? Closer. So if he's tossing and Evan's going to start back here, then I need him timing the toss so that he's getting in close enough to the net to make the first reaction volley, right? We want him really close to the net. Girls' rules this year that we put in some rules, one was they couldn't hit 3 balls in a row cross court from the baseline. So in match play, like you didn't have that option. If they had 2 balls, because I get tired of seeing them just rally cross court, cross court, cross court. So okay, if it's a 3rd ball, you have to change directions. You can lob over the net person. So I think our girls got really good at lobbing over the net person. Then we evolved, you can't lob over the net person unless you come in behind it. So no 3 in a row there. So they'd hit 1, 2. 3rd one maybe goes over. Then they have to run in behind it, take the high volley, the swinging volley, the overhead. So you're working on being aggressive. I know Madison Central does, like, you have to serve and volley. College level, I don't think that really works anymore. None of my players serve and volley. All of them are going to look to get in the net after maybe the 1st ball after the serve. Once they serve and volley, though, they've given away their court position. It might work at the high school level. I think it works at Madison Central. At our level, it's not going to work very often. State's not going to have anybody on their team serving volleying. But they are going to look to get in after the 1st ball, like as quick as they can. Y'all want to play a point out here? Let's go with your serve. I'll give you a couple. I know we're putting you on the spot. Evan, try your walk up. So you're moving closer as he's tossing. What do y'all think? I thought that looked pretty good, Evan. You like moved up and moved over pretty quick, so it looked like he was teeing over by moving up and straight across. Not bad there. Try one more. Drew, I'm looking for that high backhand volley to come right back at Evan, not to the baseliner. Not bad though. Good play. Let's flip it up. Try serving 1 to Drew, Evan across, Carter up. Okay, not bad. I think Evan's position looks, what do y'all think? Pretty solid. He's getting on top of the net pretty good there. I want you as my partner, man. That's a solid lefty first serve. Jinx it, but we got some serious percentage here. I'll play with him. I'll play with him, man. I like it. That's solid. You're owning that demo. Okay. Trying to think anything else for doubles. So any other thoughts or anything you want to see? We got, a million doubles drills.
You want him behind the line.
Hot seat returner's partner? Yeah, let's talk about returner's partner position real quick then. We talked about server's partner. We want them closer. We want them middle. We want them moving forward. If they get lobbed, they get lobbed. They can work on checking back after. Last thing on them, y'all familiar with Louis Caillé? He's with the British system, but I think the best doubles coach out there on a professional level. And Louis Caillé would say on tour, if he's coaching doubles, you would have to get passed down the alley 3 times to make an adjustment. So he would go so far as to say, I don't even care. I don't even care if you get passed down. Like, we look at that like it's failure. Like, I'm playing tennis. I don't do it very much anymore, but if I am playing tennis, I'm going to feel kind of guilty and like ashamed if I get passed down the alley. Louis Caillé's patting me on the back and going, you did everything right. I could care less. If it happens 3 times, let's get you to make an adjustment and move over some. So we want to pinch that middle a lot. Last thing on doubles two, I know maybe depending on level, but actually I think this could translate pretty well for high school too. Generally, backhands are weaker, what you're seeing, generally. So if that's the case, I think it's true for college too. I'm going to pressure the backhands off the serve a lot. Obviously, we know in doubles that we're higher percentage serving tee and body than wide. In singles, we're flipping that. Federer finished his career with 67% serves out wide with his first ball to open the court. So 70% serves out wide in singles is a pretty good primary pattern. In doubles, it's reverse. Tee and body is obviously more higher percentage because you're taking the angle away. But serving to the backhand and having the net person pressure where you think the backhand return is going to go is really critically important. In other words, if I'm serving to Evan, move in, move in and pinch. Let's go ad side. Y'all flip this way. I want to use your lefty serve wide. You're back, you're up, good. So let's assume he's gonna break our percentages. He's gonna serve wide because we like his lefty serve wide. It's gonna go to his backhand. What is his most difficult backhand return? Down the line, right? He's got a lefty serve spinning this way. The most difficult thing he could do would be to come up with this backhand line. So what I want to do is give him wide open space. So if I'm Evan, I don't have to run I formation if we're not comfortable with that, but I want to move all the way over here and pressure and tempt him to go down line. If he does, well, Evan's lefty, but for most of us, if he does, it's still to the forehand volley. So with all my doubles pairs, we run the best formations with the pairs, whether they're lefty-righty combos, set hit combos. We find, and it takes a while, but we find the best formations where that highlight their strengths. For example, in this formation right here, Evan is lefty, so it's not perfect, but I'm gonna probably have Evan slide back this way and leave him over there because I'm leaving the space open for him to hit the backhand down line. I'm gonna bet he can't do it, right? If he can do it, great. But after he hits, I'm gonna have Evan slide over a bit and it's gonna leave Hayes with his forehand, his cross-court forehand. So now we've built the point around a percentage to a backhand down line and a cross-court forehand. So I'm feeling pretty good about my odds there. We may not win the point every time, but can we win it 2.5 out of 4 times? Then we're good. All right, let's try it, Hayes. So Evan, you know where you're going? Evan, get lower, because he's got to go over you. Yep. So I'm feeling pretty good about that if Evan closes towards Drew. One more. Sorry, Hayes. Try it again, Evan. Straight to the net. If you get your hands on that volley, you're going straight at Drew. So feels like we won one and lost one, but it feels like we're in command, right? Like we're in command at that point. To me, from a formation standpoint, we're in command. I'm glad you finally missed the serve. You made me feel human. Dang. But he's got the serve that's making him go. Your backhand's great, but for any of us, that's going to be the toughest shot to pull it down line. You hopefully, I think, feel a little more pressure with Evan pinching the middle. So we want to be in a situation where we really play the percentages and play the odds and doubles. Make sense on that?
Wouldn't you do the same thing if he was serving down the tee to the do side? Because it's going to be hard for them to hit a good down the line shot.
Exactly.
So they would
Yep.
pitch to the middle.
Exactly.
Knowing that they're not going to be able to go down the alley.
Yep, exactly right. I'm on the if we flip it and go deuce side, you're up, you're back. I'm gonna play around. I'm gonna say now the ball here, if he gets a really good ball that's moving this direction, him wrapping around his body is easier than him guiding the ball there. Both are going to be difficult shots. So I'm going to play around with what my partner can do, what my opponent can do. But I think Evan's going to pinch in a little bit and see what he can do off that backhand side. That's the first game. We're going to try to test the opponent's backhand return and see what they can do. That's right, though. That's right. Still in control of the point. I like it. So see how both returns really went to the same area, so we can sort of guess or see what's going to happen off the shot. Then we can break it down. So, okay, let's work on our put away volleys, or let's work on that. Life gets a lot easier. Not everybody can do this. Let's give him a round of applause over here. Not everybody is left-handed for one, and not everybody can put the ball on a dime. Notice we've asked him to serve wide and tee. He's pretty dead on consistent on his accuracy and his spots. Life gets a lot easier if we can serve generally to the targets that we want to serve to. So I know people hate doing this. I recruited a guy from Australia, 6'8", and he told me after we played clinch match on the number 2 team in the country, and they lost the clinch doubles court 14-12 in a tiebreaker on a double fault. So, of course, I had him working on his serve because he got broken. He's 6'8". He got broken in the match, and he double faulted for match point. So he comes to me and says, I hate working on my serve. I've never had to do this before. So nobody's ever had you serve baskets? Like, you're 6'8". So, I mean, I've spent the year trying to talk the guy into serving. Like, this is why we brought you here, right? I didn't bring you here so you could grind. I mean, the guy wants to play defense on the – you're 6'8". Let's hit some serves, right? So it definitely gets a lot easier when you can place your serve. All right, pretty good on doubles. Y'all want to shift to some single stuff, or do we want to stay on more dubs? Okay, let's run a cadence drill. Let's go singles. If anybody else wants to hit in, you can. We're going half. Evan, jump on this side. You know this one well. And anybody else who wants to go against him. And then somebody else can go on the other side. We're going to run this we would normally run this for 5 minutes. I'm going to, just for a taste, give it to them for a minute. The idea is they get one ball. They have to track that ball down if they miss. They're going straight ahead half court. So Hayes, you can take one on that half the court. Yep. Carter, you guys are here. Now hold on a second. Rules are you're working together. Again, a cooperative drill. I love cooperative drills in practice. You're working together to get as many balls as you can get for our purposes in 1 minute. Generally, I would run this for 5 minutes. All right? Now, cadence for running, cadence for swimming. I love to stay fit and do those things. What does cadence mean, and how does it relate to tennis? What are we looking for in a drill like this? Why would I care that they hit more balls in a shorter amount of time? Faster. Any thoughts? So, okay, if we say, hey, I want y'all to go hit 100 balls back and forth, all right? They come out here and we say, life or death if you do it. All right, well, they're going to loop up 100 balls back and forth, and we're going to hit. It's going to take forever to hit 100 balls, but we're going to make it in. We've all seen it, the pushing, moonballing stuff. But if we say, hey, you've got a minute, you got 5 minutes, and I need you to hit 200 balls. If you're SEC school, men's side, you're probably 220 to 225. Ole Miss State, men's team, probably getting 220, 225 balls in 5 minutes, and they run cadence drills for sure. And when you run a cadence drill, you're working on a couple things. One, timing to take it off the bounce. I don't want to back up and play defense. I'm trying to take it off the bounce, off the rise, so I take time away from my opponent. My cadence, my rhythm goes up. I'm also trying, obviously common sense, can I hit the ball faster? Can I hit it harder, right? Can I hit it a little bit flatter? But can I control it? Because if we only have one ball and we miss it and we hit it 2 courts down, we got to go run, get it, and bring it back, we just lost the case. We're not going to have time to recover from that. We're not going to get 200 balls. So I'll have my team to do this with minimums. They have to beat their time each week. They have to steadily improve their cadence. And it pretty quickly narrows down your balance of what I would call your tournament ball, your real ball, your match ball. None of us, I mean, it's not, we don't want your match ball to be just a moon ball, and we also don't want it to be that slap. We're going to have to find a balance there, and that's why we would run something like a cadence drill. All right, you got 60 seconds on the clock. Hold it, and I use the timer a lot. Ready? Go. So notice where Carter's position is. I'm giving him 10 feet behind the baseline. Notice where Evan's position is. So Evan's going to be increasing the cadence. Carter's going to be pushing the cadence down. No offense to Carter, he's never done this before. But he's moving back. See how he's naturally tracking the ball back. And Evan's looking to move forward and cut time. Evan's not letting those balls drop. He's moving in to take them and increase cadence. Good. Carter, that's awesome. Can you take 2 steps in? Keep going, keep going. Can you take a step or 2 in, take it off the bounce a little bit more? We got 20 seconds. Good. Good, guys. Y'all can hit a few more for fun. This is where we break down some technical errors too. We can see here we got way too much going on and would have to simplify the strokes in order to be able to give him the skill set of taking the ball off the bounce. Otherwise, he's not capable of doing it. So his whole game, if I'm playing him or coaching against him, I know he's got to retreat. He's got to move back because the stroke isn't simple enough to be able to take the ball off the bounce. So that's the first thing we would look to attack and the first thing we'd want to improve, I think, here. With Evan, it may be staying lower, getting lower, being more connected to the court, but at least he's starting to move forward and take the ball off the bounce a little bit more. Cadence drill's good. It's going to break down errors pretty quick. Guys, let's run a 1-2-3 rhythm drill. I like this one a lot, and it's great for all levels. In fact, I would argue it might even be best. Well, I do it all the time with my college players, but it's a very good drill for beginner level players as well. It's going to make you focus on strike zone. For me, beginner level players are caught with hitting it way up here, out of the strike zone type stuff. So we're going to run a 1-2-3 count. Carter, you're calling 1 when Evan strikes the ball, 2 when it bounces, 3 when you hit. Don't get confused because Evan's going to do the opposite. He's going to count 1 when you hit, 2 when it bounces, 3 when it hits. Now you have to say it out loud. Vocally, verbally, audibly. Yeah? Okay. So they're running 2 different counts. Same thing for you guys. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm very strict on this. You have to call the ball exactly when it hits the strings or when it bounces or when you hit it. Ready, go? 2. Evan, I can't hear you. Show off. Yell it. 2, 3. So we'll keep track with Evan for a second. So go ahead. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, hold it. I noticed pretty quickly in this drill that if they're doing it right, the ball quality improves, concentration locks in. Why? Because for me, it's eyes, feet, hands in order of importance in tennis. Players, especially beginners, are going to flip that and go hands first, right? But we're looking at visual tracking. When I'm recruiting somebody mainly off of video, I don't have budget to go travel to recruit as much, so I'm looking at a video. I'm very attentive to visual tracking and eyes. I've recruited players only because I can tell they can track the ball quickly and they can see the ball coming early. So I'm looking for Evan to lock in. Now he's got a goal. He's got to call the ball right when it hits Carter's strings, which is going to make him cue mind, eyes, visual, right? He's got to hit that. Then it goes to his hands. His feet. He's got to go 2 as soon as it bounces, which means getting in position. Then the last thing and the least important thing is his hands, right? So we're really looking at eyes and feet, and we're getting that concentration locked in at a higher level. I usually find this helps a lot with players. We'll do it as a warm-up sometimes to get them started and get them going and get them tracking. Federer has even been quoted saying that like in a major match or a tiebreaker, he would run a 1-2-3 count in his head. So like when the stakes are higher, everybody's watching, you're nervous. A good tool for a high school player is to keep things calm and methodical in your mind. Keep running that 1-2-3 count. It's all that matters. We can't do 2 things at once. I'm not worried about the score. I'm not worried about winning. I'm not even worried about the success of my shot if I'm just focused on 1-2-3. right? So I will often go to my players in a big moment and try to keep them more basic, more simple, more grounded on a very specific task. Try it one more time. Get your counts, and notice like Carter hasn't done this, so it's gonna be really hard for him. Most of the time they're off on the count, or they'll miss 2, they'll be late for it, they'll say 3, 2 seconds after they hit it, and that's pretty common. Hayes, how's your count, buddy? Okay, let me get it. Count it out loud. 1, 2, 3. Better, Evan. 1, 2, 3. Okay, not bad. All right, y'all both clear the net. Balls are in the net. Remember our number 1 rule, which I haven't explained to kids, it's my fault, is to clear that ball out of the net once they hit it. So we did a couple rhythm things. We did a cadence drill. We did a 1, 2, 3 count. Let's say, again, it's maybe higher level or more than you want to get into. Courts are a factor, coaches or whatever. But I structure my practices based on the competition and when that competition is. So in the beginning of the week, for example, we're going to run more of this. We're going to run more rhythm, more cadence, more balls, more cooperation. As we get closer to the match, we might, 2 or 3 days before, maybe it's way more point play with conditions, with things they're working on, with objectives. Then maybe as we get closer to the match again, we're back to more rhythm and conditioning. So I think you can structure your practices around what you have coming, set your goals. Players are going to be in a lot better frame of mind to go compete and play a set or play condition points if they've gotten rhythm, if they've gotten what they consider some degree of rhythm. Sometimes it's mental, but I know some players more than others want to be fed. They want to be hand-fed. They want to run drills like this so they feel really precise and perfect about what they're doing. So I'm pretty aware and in tune with that. I don't want my players to just run out on the court, hit a quick warm-up, and start playing points. They're just gonna get frustrated, right? So we do a lot of that to get them in rhythm before they go. Let's see. Let's run I'm talking too much. Let's break into 3. Let's go groups of 3 or 4. Y'all hop up, grab yourself 2 or 3 partners, break up into groups of 3 or 4. Not them, you guys. You guys. You guys. Groups of 3 or 4. I'm going to put a quick test on you before we get these guys hitting. Stretch out after your buffet lunches. Next test is we're running suicide sprints. Okay. Y'all are going, guys, in our groups of 3 or 4. Everybody together? All right.
One more here. Everybody got it?
Come on, don't be shy. Okay. I'm going to give you guys 5 dimensions of tennis. These are 5 things you could do to a tennis ball. All right? I'm going to give them to you in no order of importance, and I want you to collaborate and rank them what you would consider most important to least important. All right? Anybody got an idea? What can we do to a tennis ball? Any dimensions of tennis? How about spin? You have a top spin, slice, side spin. Okay. You can spin a tennis ball. How about pace, power? You can drive it. So we got spin, we got power. How about consistency? Okay, I'm gonna call that depth. All right, working together a little bit with height. And last thing, direction. So let's go over it again. I don't remember what order I did, but power, spin, direction, depth, and consistency. Your job, your whole life is built up to this moment, is to go rank those in order of importance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm giving you 60 seconds. Ready to go? $30 seconds. You could do this in your sleep. That was actually really good. The count was good. Guys, good job. Carter, good job. Hayes. Hayes, you don't count too much, do you? You don't count too much? We got to get this guy counting. Serve, on the other hand. 10 seconds. You guys feeling confident? 5 seconds. Time. All right. Let me get a spokesperson from each group. Rank them. Rank them. 1 through 5.
Consistency, depth, consistency, direction, power. Spin, direction, power. In high school level.
Consistency, depth, spin, direction, power. Thoughts?
Direction, consistency, spin, depth, and power.
Thoughts?
We got depth, direction, consistency, spin, and power. No.
Spin, consistency, power.
And
Okay. Thoughts?
Direction, depth, spin, power.
Okay.
Consistency. Yep. Direction, spin, and power list.
Here we go.
The same thing. Consistency, depth, direction, spin, and power.
Okay. Consistency, depth, direction, spin, power. All right. You two groups, come out here. Come out here. Come on. Come on. Come on out here. Now, what I would like for you to do now is take a bow. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Very good. Now, USTA, this is not me. USTA, this is USTA's pathway. Their thought process on the 5 dimensions of tennis is consistency, depth, direction, spin, power. Now, think about it. Think about it. You got to put the ball in play. You got to put the ball in play. Now, I know there's like that extreme thought, well, what if we're just moonballing it? But we got to be able to put the ball in the lines. That's number 1. We got to put the ball in play. 2, can you put the ball in play close to the baseline? All right. I have been on the receiving end of many people much better than me playing tennis, including this guy, I think. But first time I played John McEnroe, I felt like I was a late bloomer, like maybe got a little bit better at tennis later, but go out and play John McEnroe, and the first thing I noticed, other than the kind of concentration level, is how deep the ball is, right? You're coming from wooden rackets, there's not a lot of spin on the ball, it's a really heavy ball, it's driving through, but his ability to put the ball close to the baseline will make you a believer that depth is priority. Depth is priority. So getting the ball in play, keeping it deep, then understanding direction. Most of our errors come in those 3 categories. We're not consistent enough, meaning we're missing neutral balls. We're not deep enough, meaning we're probably dropping in the net. Or we don't direct the ball to the right section of the court. We don't understand when we should hit it cross court versus when we should change directions and go down line. Or when we need to defend the court properly and go to the center of the court, the middle of the court. Okay, so direction's huge. Spend a lot of time with my players on direction. Then I would say spin. We're working heavy top spin balls, obviously slice when you can mix it in or add variety. Least most important thing that I spend time on with my players is power, is pace. It's important, it's good, they're all important, but I'm gonna rank that at 5. Think about, I know I'm too much of a Federer fan, it's my fault, but think about a point, just a single point that you've seen Federer play. Or go back and watch it. Go watch Federer play with those 5 orders of importance. Watch a point. Watch how he starts the point with consistency. Watch how he builds depth. Watch when he builds direction or when he takes his chances to change direction, when he decides to change speed or spin. And you'll see his points generally play out in that order with the 5 dimensions of tennis. It's one of the reasons, we may not put our finger on it, but it's one of the reasons that we love how beautiful his game was, is he stays to the fundamentals so well. He really plays tennis in the smartest way with those 5 dimensions. Go compare it with somebody like Andy Roddick, who I love, Andy Roddick. Power flips up, okay? Didn't have the career Federer. Go compare it to like Nick Kyrgios. I love Kyrgios, but very different. We're not playing tennis in the same way. Not as intelligent of a sport. All right, guys, awesome, good job. Okay, so with that said, I want to work drills that run. I want to work drills. What do we have, William, till 1:30?
We go until 3. We go a little over that.
Oh, sorry, 3. Okay. So I want to work drills, thank you, that highlight all 5 dimensions of tennis. All of them are important. Now, you guys are in high school. With high school, people are going to love working pace. Don't shy away from it. Maybe you want to start with power, get them having fun. We talked about fencing balls. You're not going to meet a high school kid who doesn't enjoy trying to pop the ball over the fence. So like, let's have some fun with it fencing. You can work on pace. Here's how I would structure that. Let's say we want to work on power. The kid doesn't know what you're doing. That's for us to know. All they need to know is they're having fun hitting the ball hard. But if we're going to do that drill, why don't we do it in a really productive way that helps us work something like internal rotation? So let me grab you guys, jump on the other side. Actually, yeah, jump on the other side, that's fine. Because you're going to this way. When we feed overheads, when I serve practice, I'm always going righties to the ad side, not the deuce side. Any thoughts? I want them to work on their natural throwing motion, right? And now I think people are playing less tennis. I think our throwing motion as Americans has gotten worse. We're getting away from how good our serves historically were. But we're normally serving into the deuce side. When we get practice, just by nature, we grab a basket of balls and stand over here and we serve to the deuce side. Not only in ad scoring are you only getting 2 game points here, 40-15 or 15-40. On the ad side, you're getting 6 game points. 30-40, 40-30, love 40, 40 love, add out, add in. This is clearly a very important box to be serving into. So I want to flip that and get my players serving more into the ad side. But the real reason to do it and the real benefit of it is because I'm hitting inside the ball. I'm trying to get my players used to hitting internally. So in other words, using the inside of their shoulder just like they would throw. A quarterback would throw, a pitcher would, a player would throw. I want them serving this way. If you watch a pro and you freeze frame their serve, they don't serve. It's not like this. It's not like that, right? It's like this. Dennis Vandermeer found that in the 70s when he sort of invented that video technology that started freeze framing people's serves. So a serve doesn't actually look like that, or it shouldn't. It should look like this because you're hitting from the inside of your shoulder out. So the way we work on that, we could tell them, hey, we're gonna have a fun day. I'm gonna let y'all smack balls over the fence, but I'm also working a technical component of making sure that they're working to the outside, to the ad side, and trying to work internal rotation. Y'all see if you can spot it. I've never seen most of these guys, so let's check it out. Jump in here. Carter, you wanna go first? Carter, my wife thinks I'm gonna make it home for dinner, so if you wanna place that overhead, that section of the court, she would be grateful, but I don't know, she might be okay with it. All right, move this way and in just a little bit. Let's give you kind of a, not an easier overhead, but a closer one. There we go. We'll both warm up. I'll warm up my feed. You'll warm up your overhead. Good, one more. Good, next. And just check it, guys. If anybody wants to take a video, and then we can slow-mo it back, we could play it and see what their racket looks like. Sometimes I'm just not that good, and I need somebody to video it so I can actually go do my homework after and see what it really looks like. So I know that ball's coming at me, which is why how do I know it's coming at me? Before he hits it, I'm turning, I know it's coming at me. So we need a little grip work. We're gonna change that continental. We're gonna change your racket to this way. It is no choice. It's gonna be an utter impossibility. You would be the first person in the history of the world to hit internal rotation with that setup. So we know it's coming this way. So how can you get that ball to that side? Thoughts? Go continental. Change. Can we get your right foot back? You're on the inside of the ball, and you're gonna, yep, let's try it. Here we go. Go ahead and put it, yep. Better, good, next. That's coming at me. Ooh, all right, next, here we go. Not bad. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm gonna save our audience, all right? Because I would have my lefties go to this side, correct? So I'm gonna skip you. Only because you're special. God gifted you as a lefty. Okay, we got a winner. How was that? Why did it have so much pop on it? Why did you catch it? Did anybody video it? Did anybody get it? Yeah, so you hear people talk about pronation, right? My wife's a PT. Pronation and supination are just the way you move your arm. I mean, that's just literally whether you do this or you do that. So pronation is a piece of it, but that's always not been correct, I don't think, for tennis pros. You're not just pronating. Like, it's not just turning your arm. You're using your shoulder. You're using the inside of your shoulder. He got his shoulder turned and moving, and of course that caused his arm to pronate. So it's a whole kinetic chain. Started with his feet being on the inside, then he got to the inside of the ball, he turned his shoulder, his arm turned. All of a sudden, he doesn't have to be the strongest person in the world. He might be, but he just pops it straight on the head, and it can go, right? It can go. That's why I'm confident that my smallest girls on my team can still fence balls. And I'm not going to be satisfied until they're fencing overheads, because I know they can if they get that technical rotation and that turn. Let's go. And one more. I know she can fence a ball as soon as she figures this out. Not bad. So with her, to get her fencing it more and to get her popping, I would get her closer to the net, and I would put the target like right here. I'd have her hit straight down on it, right? So until she gets the feel of being able to really get confidence hitting straight down on it, bouncing the ball really high. All right, good job, guys. So power. I know we said least most important, but I think it gets the attention of your high school players. So a drill like that or something like that could get them engaged. You don't have many courts. All right, well, you can line them up and fire. You could have half of them collecting balls quickly, running back, building your conditioning into it somehow. It's I'm never going to work on a serve by starting the serve. I'm always going to start a serve work, whether the player knows it or not. I'm always starting their serve process with overheads or close, either bouncing or up. I want to work on their internal rotation. We've got footballs. I want them throwing. I want them working on medicine balls to throw. Then we get back here and start maybe some adjustments on serves. Okay, spin. Let's go. I'm working in reverse order here. Let's go 4, y'all. Can be anybody. 2, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. And we're going, guys, service line to service line. Lefty, who's my lefties? Okay, lefty. All right, let's go here. Let's go even a little bit closer. All right, well, you guys put those about a little more than halfway between the net and the service line. Thank you, guys. All right, slice wars. All right, in a hour lesson, we're going to work on one kind of key focus. When I was in New York, we had 34-week indoor season, so my lesson plan was set out for the season. If I was giving somebody one lesson a week, those 34 would sort of be mapped out. Like, okay, this is what I want to work on with this player, and I'd kind of figure out what I want to do. And in some part of the lesson, I would generally have some element of slice wars. 1, because kids find it really fun. But 2, you're working racket skills. You're working on your serve because you're working on your grip a little bit. You're working on spin. You're working on accuracy. Lots of things there. So slice wars would be like 2 out of 3. You guys have to hit slices backhand. So you're going to come to this side. Riley? Abby. Dang it. Riley. You're coming to this side. And then Evan to that side. You guys on your backhand side. And you're just as simple as it sounds. You're going to try to hit each other's cone with slices. Go ahead. Just straight ahead. Good. Go to the backhand side, though, Abby. Nice. So y'all are moving around. You're positioning. You're doing lots of footwork to find backhands. Good. Nice, Evan. So we're also, as we work this skill, we're developing the foundation of a backhand volley. A lot of my players that struggle with backhand volleys, I'll have them start with backhand slice wars to kind of get the feel of the slice. Yes, we're trying to hit the partner's cone, and we're trying to do it only with the backhand so that they're moving around, they're adjusting, they're still working eyes, feet, hands, they're still coordinating pretty well. Nice, guys. And we could run these different ways depending on the level. All right, good job, guys. First thing that I would also recommend is a huge traffic cone, right? So these kind of like the best players that I worked with, generally I'll start with the biggest target possible. I actually don't have the traffic cones at MC, but I have those big, I have our water coolers, and I'll put our water coolers on the court. So if we're starting at the beginning of the season with, you know, serve accuracy or whatever it is, I always start with a huge target, like something that we know they can do. So scale it to whatever level it is. But if you feel like you need 10 bags stacked on top of each other, then stack 10 bags on top of each other. Is nothing better than a player feeling good about hitting a target, right? It feels great. It's fun. So I would go biggest target possible. In that 34-week progression, I think I told you about my kid, Zizou, who's a really good player now. But when we started him at 5, I would start him on huge traffic cones with whatever we were, the big ones, the big orange barrel cones you see on the interstate. Then we worked down, and I would, even in his first year, I would have tiny moments where I would give him, you know, those little conical like Dixie cups. I'd replace the target, the big traffic cone, and stick one of those out there for him, right? Just give him like 2 minutes taste of a challenge. Like, could he hit? And I mean, the kid just ate it. Talk about feeding into competition or getting somebody's competitive spirit going. Doing things like that are constantly challenging your player is great, but I would only do that for a period of time and then go back to giving them a lot of success. They need to have wins. They need to have success of hitting big targets. So if these are too small and I run this for 3 or 4 minutes and nobody can hit a target, then I'm gonna go replace it with a bigger target and we'll keep going, right? No reason for me to like make a point, like you have to hit it. Let's just give them a way to where they succeed or get that win. All right, let's run a depth drill. Evan, will you clear these cones? Evan, will you take that one and put it 10 feet in? And let's go. Drew, you want this? You want this demo? You want it. You take this and put it 10 feet in. Let's go halfway. So basically you're gonna go for the baseline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's an example of how I would move cooperative drill to competition drill, but not be scared that like it's gonna tank my practice and my guys are gonna get too ego-driven and competitive. They may get into it, but I feel like it's still gonna be okay. So the game here is Evan versus Abby. Evan versus Abby. They're playing to 21, okay? First to 21, but it only counts if it's between that line and this line. So if Evan hits the ball successfully in this space, Evan gets a point. Abby's job is to track Evan's points. So she would say 1. If he does it again, she would say 2. Same for her. He has to count her points every time she gets it past his line. Now, here's the trick to the game. You have to play everything. If they miss it long, you got to go grab it. If they miss it hot, whatever. Play every ball. You're not running each other. It's straight ahead, rhythm and depth only. All right, you want to give it a shot? We won't count the feed. One. Did you get 1, Evan? All right, nice. See if we can keep one going. Here we go. 1. 2. Ooh, it's getting better. 2. All right, hold it, guys. Has it gotten cleaner? They got cleaner in like a minute, right? So I think one of the things that makes our jobs really fun is to let players go, like let them go. And when we talked about developing teams and letting your players lead, one of the things that has held me back some of the time from that I catch myself on is they're gonna fail, like they're gonna screw up. I mean, I am too. We are too, right? We're gonna screw up as parents, as coaches, but kids are really gonna screw it up. I mean, I had some guys make some really bad decisions over the 3 years that I've been here in college. I mean, some head-scratchingly bad decision making from players that are supposed to be leaders on my team. Off court, on court, you name it, right? But part of the fun part, I think, maybe not fun in the moment, is letting them screw up and talk about it and get better at it and fix it and work on it and learn to get better. It's watching that improvement. And I love drills where you can see players get better like that, right? Like it's going to get cleaner. They're too good. They're too athletic. They're too competitive. They're not going to just keep shanking or missing. They're going to figure it out. So I think we oftentimes, or I'm guilty of this, like sometimes think a player can't get, I need to tailor it down so much. You don't always have to do that. I mean, if you leave the drill at a certain level, we often surprise ourselves with how quickly they can move up and start to handle things. Let's get everybody up one more second, because I know you're getting sick of hearing me talking. So everybody's going to go to this side of the court. Guys, y'all can come too. And you're going to line up against the curtain. And you're going to face the curtain. And there is no peeking, no cheating. I will find you. No peeking, no cheating. Almost ready. Don't peek. Hold it there. All right, so stay facing that way. I'm going to pick a few people in the interest of time. I would do this with your kids and have them all do it, go through it. I think it works well and proves the point. But in the interest of time, I'm just only going to pick a couple people. I'm going to pick people in the middle of the court. What we're going to do, when you turn around, there's 3 balls that I've placed on the other side of the court. And you're going to look and tell me from left to right how many inches or feet they are inside the baseline. Everybody with me on that? All right. Let's go. Right here. Okay. My man, my Delta man. Left, middle, right. How far?
Left, a foot.
1 foot.
And center about 2 feet.
Okay.
And then the other about a foot.
Okay.
No,
So,
the first one half.
Okay.
About
Okay.
half foot. And the middle one about 2 feet.
Okay.
And then the last one a foot.
now this guy I like. He treated this like if he got it wrong, bad things were going to happen. I mean, we were going all out on this one, and I like that about you. I like that. All right, let's go. Left, middle, right.
Let's go 18 inches.
18 inches.
Let's go 5 foot
Okay.
and 3.5.
All right. Let me get one of my Oxford reps. One of my Oxford reps flipping around. What we got? Left, middle, right.
That left one looks like about a foot.
Okay.
That middle one, I'd say 3 feet probably.
Okay.
Like 2 on that.
Okay. Everybody can flip around. In the interest of time, we've gotten 3 people to guess. Y'all take a little look at that, and then we're going to go to the other side and see how we did. We're going to test it out and see how we did. So give yourself a second to calibrate your vision. Everybody ready to see how we did? I just can't wait any longer. Let's go. How'd they do?
This one looks like it's like a foot, but it's really like
1, 2, a little over 3. Not 6 inches, a little over 3 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, More than 8. More than 8. This one's going to be more than 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.5. Right? So what are we learning? That I ran over real quick and
They look closer to the line way over there than they actually are.
so depth perception does not equal reality, right? Also, we're learning maybe don't question so many calls. Not everyone is out to get you. League tennis players. Okay, so unless you're in college, then they are. So depth perception is very different than reality, which means we have seasoned players, or we have people that play. Like, I've never had anyone ever say it's closer to the line. That it's further from the line. Everyone always thinks it's closer to the line. It doesn't matter how long you've been playing tennis. All right? So how do we overcome that? Because we're over here as coaches going, your ball's landing inside the service line or right around the service line, and they don't have a clue. They're playing. They think they're doing great. They think their ball's landing. And we're playing, and we think our ball's landing the baseline, and sure enough, it's 5 feet inside the baseline. So when we run these depth games, we're practicing reality and not perception. We're training it may sound really simple. You could put a line there and made them hit across it. Well, they don't ever do that. They don't work on this much. So when we do something like this, what was this? About 3 feet, a little more than 3. I would run it maybe 8 or 10 feet to 21 because that's more achievable. Again, scale it for levels, right? You know your level better. If you need to run that game to 5, run the game to 5. You need to start past the service line. Hey, can you hit 10 past the serve? Play the same game we just did, but it's past the service line. You can scale it how you want. What I usually do with our level is 8 feet for 21, and then maybe 5 feet for 15, maybe 3 feet for 10, and then the all-time greatest, 1 foot for 3. 1 foot for 3. And the trick on this one is you have to make sure they play balls that go long, right? I want that. When do we ever practice hitting the ball long versus how much do we practice with our ball safe? We're spinning it to get it in and land it safe, right? We already established consistency is really important, but we also want to work on depth. Tough to do this two at the same time. So I want to make sure that we play balls and keep the point going when they're past the baseline. Makes sense on depth games. All right. You might remember Noah Rubin, not our best claim to fame, but from our academy, he was a really good player. He got to 140 or so in the world ATP. He won Junior Wimbledon. He's obviously a very good player. But when he went pro after playing at Wake, turned pro after his first year at Wake, making the finals of the national championship in singles and losing to Mitchell Kruger from Texas. After he did that, he went on tour and he kind of tanked for a while. He came back to the academy, and one of the coaches that I worked with that I liked a lot was helping him, and I was helping him a bit, but the other coach was really doing the bulk of the work. And I saw him on the court with him, and they went straight to depth drills. They just went straight to that. He just felt like his ball had become too short, and just a couple hours of repetition of just keeping the ball deeper and deeper and deeper until they worked into these. Also, another thing is points with extended lines. Right? So when we do go into point play, I want to pull the line back a little bit. I use chalk pretty heavily on my courts, and I may just chalk the line and extend it a little further and give them a little more space. Remember, we gave them a lot of restrictions on net and wide, so I want to free them up to really shoot the ball deep. And I want to allow them maybe to miss a little bit so they calibrate, they figure that out a little bit on where they are. I want it to be a true practice where they can kind of figure that out. Make sense on depth? Any questions on depth drills? Y'all do stuff like that? Any depth emphasis? All right.
I told him to get 5 or 6 windows over there.
I like that. Can't argue with that. Yeah. On line with that, something I did with some beginners in a camp recently was a mirroring drill. So like teaching them, putting the high rope up, teaching them to hit double nets, like say 3 feet over the net, something like that. But then when the person does that, they have to hit the same shot back. And I found that the rallies got really clean because they both started to copy each other's art and get the ball this way. And then we kind of moved them 3/4 court, and then we moved them back to the baseline. So we're still mirroring each other's shots. We're also starting to build that principle in that if somebody backs you up really deep and you're in defensive position, we want to go up. The sky's the limit, right? We want to go up. Well, Usually, sky's the limit. We want to go up with the ball and get it really back high so we're not making any net errors there. So somebody, when we talked about dimensions, said height, and I linked it with depth. I think those two are pretty linked concepts there. Okay, let's run a couple live ball drills real quick. We can come back over. Evan, I'll leave these balls out. You and somebody, because I know you know this one, let's go no winners points. Going back to this side. Okay, who is Evan's victim over here? Carter, let's do it.
Right, and
Guys, we're gonna run no winners points, which is what it sounds like. I'm gonna give you guys the rules very quickly. You get the full singles court. If you hit a winner, it's dead. It doesn't count. You have to redo the point. Winner means absolutely nothing. It's not allowed. It doesn't benefit you in any way, shape, or form. No winners points. Now, that said, the second rule, you have to run all out for every ball. As the coaches, we have veto right here. If Evan hits the ball here to Carter and Carter goes, that was a really good winner, redo the point, that doesn't count. He's got to run all out for the ball. So it's cooperative in that way. Everybody with me? That's the loophole. We all have that kid. It's going to be like, you know what I'm saying. It was a winner when it wasn't really a winner. So no winners. Got to run out for every ball. Ready to go? 1-0. Let's play to 3. Let's play to 3. 1-0 for Carter. Bless you. Are we starting to get why I like no winners points? Right? Gets pretty clean. We get a lot of play. We get a lot more attention to detail. Now, before they play their championship point, it's 1-1. Championship point. Evan, you be ready for this championship point? Carter? Okay. Why are we playing no winners points? What are we working on? It's the number one guess, and I'm not disagreeing entirely. Okay. So consistency, depth, those elements are in it. What else am I looking for him to do? What are the 3 ways to score in tennis? Winners. Unforced errors. And? Forced errors. That's it, right? That's how you score. That's our sport. So we're taking winners away. All right, we're setting that on the shelf, and we're playing a game of unforced errors and forced errors. Now, if I only said you can't force an error, then we'd be working consistency only, right? But I didn't say that. I said no winners, which means you are in free position to force errors. You can force mistakes. So with that said, what am I trying to get my opponent to do? I'm trying to get my opponent to miss. How can I do that? What position? What are the 3 positions in tennis? Offense, defense, and neutral. What I'm paying attention to really are neutral balls. Neutral balls in this rally are going to define who gets the first look at offense or defense. The quality of my neutral ball is how good of a player I am, right? It's not my offense or defense capabilities, it's how good I am in neutral position. I want to be great. I want to be better at the guy across the net for me at a neutral ball. If I'm great at neutral balls, if I have the depth, if I have the consistency on that, if I'm directionally smart, then I can earn myself more offensive opportunities and less defensive opportunities. All right? So I'm looking at neutral position when I'm analyzing this as a coach. It's breaking it down. It's taking winners off the table for a minute to let me look at a more specific subset of how we score in tennis. I'm taking winners aside. I'm looking at defensive positions, and I'm really looking to see who can put the other person in a defensive position, who can set a better trap. My 6-year-old is loving Connect 4 right now, and we're working on it, and I hate to say he's beat me a few times, but we're working on setting traps in Connect 4. I'm trying to get him thinking. I want him to be a great tennis player, obviously, but I'm trying to get him thinking, how do you set a trap better for your opponent? If Carter puts a deep ball cross court with his forehand to Evans' left-sided backhand, and he does it high with lots of shape, think Nadal Federer, and he pushes him back, right? Once he sees that Evans is pushed back, can he step in and gain court position, maybe try an angle, and then open up the court and to go in? I'm looking to see how his mind works. What does he do? Is he trying to push him back first? Is he trying an angle too quickly? Is he opening up the court? Is he going down line too fast? How do we set traps? How do we play out of defensive positions? That's really the beauty of the winner's points beyond just consistency. I'm looking to see how we play those positions. Now, yes?
Start, because now they're saying they can't hit winners now. That means they're coming off the ball and not being aggressive. So how do you deal with that?
Great question. Can you be aggressive without hitting winners? Yes. Okay. I'm going to use Louis Caillet. I'm going to use Louis Caillet's terminology. Instead of aggressive, I'm going to call it surgical. Can I be surgical with my shot selection? Can I hit a heavy ball? Heck yeah. I can hit a really heavy, high, loopy ball with lots of action that I know Evan can actually get. He's going to get the ball, but is he going to get it from back here? Can he take it back here? Well, now I'm in offensive position to go for something else. That's aggressive. It's surgical, right? It's not out of control. It's not blasting a winner. It's looking to put my opponent in defensive positions and force errors. Before they play, last thought, my kid that I referred to that had the U.S. Open run this past year, when we watched him in the mains in the first round, played a guy from Spain, and my kid's forehand is great. I think it's great. I think it's a great ball, but it didn't have enough to push the guy off the baseline. So you're watching the play, and it looks like a grown man and a child because the kid is back here trying to hit forehands, and the mature player is up here taking them like this. And even though it is a decently close match, like 5 and 6, but there wasn't really any threat of our kid winning. So the first thing we did after the match was say, when you go back to the drawing board, I'm obviously not there anymore, but his coach, in consultation with his coach, when you guys go back to the drawing board, you're putting a piece of tape on that curtain. It's indoors at McEnroe's facility for a lot of the year. You're putting a piece of tape on that curtain, and it's not going to be good enough for his ball to bounce and land here. It's going to have to be up here, right? And we're going to have to work our way up. When he hits a forehand, it's going to have to be heavier. Not harder, it's going to have to be heavier. He's going to have to learn how to push a pro off the baseline if he's going to want to succeed at that level. Now, that's not hitting winners, right? That's being aggressive, but it's being heavy. All right, guys, championship point. Okay. Okay. So stop at 3.
Stop at 3 and then just have a little bit of
Q&A. Okay, perfect. Whoa! All right, okay. All right, bring it in. Let's give him a round of applause. Good job. Okay, I love no winners points. Now, when you're doing this and you're tailoring it for courts where you have less court space, be aware the points, if we're succeeding at the drill, the points are going to last longer. So I would scale it down. Keep their concentration. You know, concentration is tough in tennis. So I'm not going to have them play to 7 or 10. Maybe they're playing to 3 or 5, right? If you're in a position where you've got less coaches but 8 courts, you can spread them out 3 to court, whatever it is. Then it would be an option once they see how it's done. Then you could throw them out and set the environment. I honestly have the same problem you guys have. I've got 20 something, 22, 23 players, and I might have another coach, but it's impossible to give them the attention I want. So I'm desperately always trying to plan and think of ways I can set the environment to where they're going to improve, which is hard. I mean, it's just hard. But, you know, obviously pull off, do individuals. I try to separate practices, stagger all that. But at the end of the day, like, you're working yourself into the ground. Sometimes they've got to practice at the same time, and you're just setting the environment the best you can. Okay, that's a no winners game. let's ask our players. Guys, y'all come over here. What's the difference? Some of you have heard a little bit now, so maybe it's cheating. What would you say is the difference in no winners tennis and real tennis? When we let you play when you go play a tournament, there's no restrictions versus what you just did. What's the difference? How does your tennis different? Is that how you play tournaments? Or thoughts, Carter? Yell at us. Okay, in tournaments or no winner, like you feel like you're going for the right shot more in no winners or more in tournaments? Okay, Carter, you just played. Any difference in no winners points versus how you would normally play? Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Imagining playing, any difference you would see? So if I'm building a block for my players, like when I was coaching juniors more in the beginning of the season or beginning of the year, or some barometer I would have you guys at the beginning of the season, you're running it. I would question and I wouldn't spill it all at the same time. I would say, hey, how do you guys feel about this? Do you feel restricted? Do you feel like you're playing this way when you play matches? And see if they mature through it. What I would look for with my players in a 34-week block was in the first session when we did this, they hated it. They didn't get it. They thought I was crazy, whatever. Then I'd look for it maybe the next time. And I would look to see, and I would keep asking the same question. What's the difference in this and real tennis? And I wouldn't stop until I finally would get a player to say, not really anything, not much, right? And when that happened, I would feel that we had a mature tennis player, a player who understands the sport a lot better than they did when they started. Now, that's not to say, to her point, it's not to say you can't go for winners. I mean, of course, we want to hit winners. But I don't usually meet players who are scared to rip it or go for it occasionally, right? Most of the time, it's errors. So we want to work on that, and I'll show you a drill in a second how I flip this on the same day and work on winners and being offensive. But I really want to get players to the point where we ask Evan and Carter, and they both look at me genuinely and say, there's no difference. That's how I play tennis now, right? I'm intentional. I'm selecting my shots. I'm building my points. I'm not really making mistakes off neutral balls. It's not really happening. If somebody beats me, it's because they were just better than me and they put me into defensive positions more than me. Okay, I need to work on my depth so that doesn't happen. There's always a reason to improve or get better at it. But I don't want a player who says, after 10 weeks of working on this, yeah, I mean, this is why it's different. I'm not allowed to go for winners. Take my guys again. I know it sounds like I'm trashing my guys. I love my guys. But I would have them, and every day we worked on it. Coach, can we hit a winner if we get a volley? Can we hit a winner if it's inside the service line? Can I hit a winner if it's, it was like they needed 50 carve-outs for why they could hit a winner. It's like, no. Like, I know that in real life, if you get a short ball there, I'm very aware you can hit a winner. That's just not what we're working on right now. I want you to stay focused on getting your partner, your opponent into a defensive position. Anybody remember Andre Agassi? How did Agassi play? I mean, Agassi's punching you around. Agassi's quoted for intentionally putting the ball in places where he knew you could just barely get it. What did Roddick say about Djokovic after one of his last losses to him? First he takes your legs, then your lungs, then your soul. I don't want to play that guy, right? I mean, Djokovic is holding back. Pros they're artists at holding back a bit. They're not giving everything they got every time they hit. That's why I can't get my guys to understand. They're not putting 100% into every serve. They're holding back constantly to keep their percentages where they want. Okay, let's run another drill. Everybody can do this one. You're going to line up behind the tee. On the flip side, and this would be a good way I would end practice, especially if we've played conditioned points, and as much as we've tried, as much as we've tried to get people not, mad that they lost or whatever, they are. I mean, we know somebody loses in practice. If they're competitive, they're mad. So for me, I want to end on a good note. I want to end with them remembering something good. So we'll work on short balls, and what better way to do that on forehand. So I'll give them this drill. A lot. Everything's a forehand. Heads up over here. Everything's a forehand. Everything has to be in position. So the rule is you have to be loaded in position, and then you got to hit it as big as you possibly can. Last rule, can't be in the net. So you got to be in position, all out for every shot, as big as you can possibly hit it, but it can't go in the net. You got all that? Last rule is, I'll tell you when you're tired. So you just keep going. Ready? Uh-oh. Clear it. Hustle. And here we go. Start it again. He's in position. I think he's got more, though. Spinning. Drive it. A lot harder. Good. He's pretty focused. I like it. 2 more. Last ball. So we're working on offense too. I just want to do it in a controlled setting or controlled environment where they know they're working on that piece of their game. They're not just playing points, ripping balls, right? They're kind of focusing more on it. Let's go, Evan. Good. A little more load, Evan. Stay connected to the court. Push into it. Good. Breathe, Evan. As you're hitting, breathe out. 2 more. Last ball. Okay, not bad. 1 more. Last one, just because it's fun. Here we go. Tee off on these. Good. Good. Clear it. And I want to use the left hand on the racket longer so it's not disconnected. Keep the left hand on. And drive it. Don't finesse it. You can hit it out. Drive it. Good. All right, not bad. Good job, guys. So again, want to work on every part of it. Last drill I'll give you, and then we'll do quick Q&A. Evan, can you show me? I'm doing this just because I know you've done it. Everybody else slide to the side. Evan, you're defending corners. You're defending corners. Defense. One of the #1 drills we're going to do is work on defensive positions. I think defense sets players apart, especially in college. So we're working windshield wipers. You could scale these and make it fun for players. We talked about disguising fitness into tennis. Well, this is probably the classic way we do that. I'll also do 2 court windshield wipers. Usually a court has like a light post in between. This is hard, obviously, but you can scale how hard intensity you want it. I'll have them stand here, run 2 courts, feed it to there and there, but I'm trying to get them to hit their ball and hit the center light post. Okay? So they're defending the corner, they're moving. For my guys, I may push them way over here, wait, give them time, push them way over there, depending on how much I want to move them, right? This is a classic 6 a.m. workout for us. For your guys, you may want to keep them closer and just make it more fun. They're moving some, but they're working on getting in their head when they're in defensive positions. They can always use the middle of the court. And you're making it fun because they're trying to hit the light post. And you'll be surprised how many of them can hit the light post or the middle pole. For this purpose, though, I'll just go 1 court because this is something I know Evan's been working on. You're going to go wide, Evan. He's working his open stance, middle to cross court. I'm going to give him time, but I want to push him. I want to know his speed and give him time to get there, but also push him. 2 more, Evan. Last ball. Okay, not bad. Good. Really good. So we worked 3, to me, the most important positions in tennis, neutral, defense, offense, the only positions. We just worked a neutral drill with no winners. We worked an offensive drill. We worked a defensive drill. We're hitting all positions. The other thing I would say, guys, in practice and group environment, I'm not going to say I'm guilty of everything, but 90% of the time in practice, I'm going to work on strengths and things that we can do as a team collectively. I'm going to save my things that I perceive as weaknesses. I'm going to save for meetings, for one-on-ones, for individual sessions, for small group correction, for things like that. In other words, I'm basically going to try to do private lessons when I need to work on something that is a weakness. And I'm not really going to call it a weakness. I'm going to let them say that, but I'm not really going to call it a weakness. Things that like the forehand drill, I'm going to emphasize a lot of strengths in practice when we're together in a group. And that's not just, I think it's true for girls. I think it's true for the guys too. I think they respond much better to feeling better in the group, and then in the I know it's more time, but in the privates they're working on the things they could maybe get a little bit better at. All right, last thing, and let's open up for quick Q&A. What is the most important part of tennis? What do you think? Break into your groups of 3 or 4. Again, last thing. Last thing, break into your groups of 3 or 4. Real quick, tell me, spokesperson, what is the most important part of our sport? You want to improve. You want your players to improve. You want to win. What do you have to have? What is the non-negotiable theme that we need to develop in our players?
Mental toughness. Mental fortitude.
All right, interest of time, I'm going to give you my entire philosophy of tennis, maybe of life, but I'm going to give it to you in one word: confidence. Confidence. Now, the number one thing that I talk to my players about when they come into our system is I explain to them confidence is no longer a feeling. It's not I woke up, I felt good, I ate my Cheerios this morning, I had a good night's rest, I've got a girlfriend now. That's not confidence, right? That's a feeling, right? When I first met my wife, I thought she was beautiful, still do, thought she was beautiful, got a crush on her, fell in love with her, right? That's a feeling. We've been married now 16 years. That's a commitment. I still have feelings for her, still love her. Is this thing video? Oh, okay, all right. Still love her. All that stuff's there. It's phenomenal. I think we have a great marriage. But that's a commitment, right? That's not a feeling. That's a system. That's saying, okay, we're connected. We're going to do this, right? Confidence is not a feeling. At least in my program, it's not something I want my players to have that idea. I want them to get away from, is it 52 or 51? Did I sleep right? Like, here's a racket, go play tennis, right? I want them to understand that confidence is based on what we do in practice, it's preparation, and you can develop confidence also from positive results. So it's our responsibility, for me as a coach, it's my responsibility to give my player preparation and practice and to give them positive results. I gotta do both. Big targets gives them positive results. Putting them in an L6 when they can win an L5 and letting them go win the L6. You can't turn a win into a loss. Don't let a player come to you and say, well, it was an L6, nobody was good in there. Did you win the tournament? You did great. You can't overemphasize winning and that they did great. You want to win at the end of the day. Prep them, give them practice, give them the preparation they need, give them the confidence that way so they're understanding that this is a system. They're understanding. My players know. This isn't a question. I can guarantee it. My players will tell you that they worked harder than whoever they played. They know that they're better prepared. How else could I possibly explain a team that has a 51 UTR spread beating a team with a 57 UTR spread? That means every player on my team, let's say they're an 8.5, is beating a 10.5. All right? That doesn't the only way that can possibly happen is it shouldn't happen. Should never win that tennis match, right? Especially against a team who's won 9 out of 10 last national championships for a decade. We should have no right winning that match. But we did. Our girls did. I didn't. They won it because they were confident. They knew they were better prepared. They knew at the end of the day they'd had enough positive results. They had won enough. They lost one match the whole year before that. They had won enough, practiced winning enough, that when they walk in the match, they feel like they can run through a wall. It doesn't matter if the opponent's supposed to be better. So confidence, guys, most important thing. All right, Q&A. Anything that you guys want to mention, talk, or chat about? Thanks for putting up with my rambling.
All right, one quick question.
What you got?
If you were to encourage one of us, because I know all of us tend to go to the school of YouTube videos.
Okay.
There's a lot of crap. What's a good YouTube source if we were like, hey, I need a quick drill for this afternoon. It's been a hectic day. I need a good drill. This is what I've got. What's a good source for us to go to?
Probably so. I'm gonna admit something here. I I don't have any social media, and I don't know if I've ever looked at a tennis video on YouTube. So I'm probably very unqualified to answer that. I like what USTA does. I tend to be a fan of coaches like Patrick Mouratoglou. He can be commercial, but I tend to be a fan of like how he coaches different levels of players. I would give you, okay, there's a guy, Paul Wardlaw, older guy that coached at Brown. He's got this is classic old, if you guys know Ray and Walker Sahag, Walker was always doing this, but I have his directional booklet, which shows basically where to hit a ball. Like if a ball comes where do you hit it? And what are your chances of getting it? I think you can make tons of drills out of that. I personally prefer to read. I'm going to read more literature, information like that. I'll go to academies. I'll go to conventions. I'll go, I stay relevant. Obviously, I go to the US Open every year, stay there. I go back to the academy, see what they're doing. I've been gone now 4 years, so I want to see what's changed and where the game's going, right? I don't want to fall behind. But I tend to go more that route. That's just me personally.
Jorge Capistani is
It's really good.
He's
Yep.
very good. It takes time to explain the drill and then shows it.
Jorge. He has a big social media presence.
Okay.
A big YouTube channel, a lot of free stuff out there. And then through USDA coaching, there's a lot of stuff on tennisdrills.tv. And if you have any RSBA or PTR, that's on there too. So those are all really good. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing on all that is you might see something that's bad. And then even, anyone's going to look at that and go, this looks terrible. Oh, but that reminds me of something Coach Ward said. That's a great drill. Let's do that. So even if you're looking at something bad, just keep your mind turned on, and you can come up with some good stuff out of it.
How do you spell that last name?
Capistani.
Capes. Tany. One day we're going to get him down here.
Yeah, Jorge's great. And the other thing I would say, guys, like I know in your role too, and I don't know how it is, but it seems like here high school coaches are having to compete with sort of private coaches sometimes for time. And do they come to the high school practice? Do they go for their private? Like what do they do in that? So one thought or one thing that I have just on philosophy that, and I'm not at all demeaning technical proficiency because we need our players to be technical and technically sound, but I would really emphasize tactical play. For me, I get players sometimes that aren't, especially the D2 level, that aren't perfect technically, and I may or may not change something depending on if it's limiting their ability to perform the tactics that I need them to do, right? So like here's an example. When we did the cadence drill quick, if I've got a player who can't take the ball off the rise quick enough because they've got too big of a backswing or something going on their stroke, then it's worth it for me to go back and try to fix that technically and then come back to the drill because they can't execute. I can't coach them in a match to take the ball off the rise, right? But I'm not just going to start just because I don't really like the way that guy's forehand looks. Like, doesn't matter to me. I don't really care how they look. I just need them to compete well. Anything else? That was a good question. Thoughts? Big hand for our juniors. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.